Hey YouTube, welcome to Beyond the Hype, a series I created to look at Pokemon with new moves or buff moves and give you the honest analysis on them, looking at their strengths and their weaknesses and an analysis on them without too much clickbait and hype around it. So, Shadow Machamp with Karate Chop. So, why is Shadow Machamp now back on the menu? So, Shadow Machamp got Karate Chop got buffed. And if you go to organize by moves here, this is organized by your energy per turn at a 4.5. When you look at the energy per turn and you look at the damage per turn, it is truly the best move in the game. You have a 4.5 energy per turn, which is on par with Fairy Wind, Poison Sting, Psycho Cut, Thundershock. But unlike these moves that are generally low damage to 1.5, you have a 2.5 damage move, right? So you have a super fast charging move that actually does more damage than these other moves. So that, like, when you have one of the best fast moves in the game, it just automatically just rises everything up with it. So it's given to Pangoro and Machamp. Right now I don't have a Pangoro. I'm still trying to catch Dark Pokemon to evolve mine. But I do have Machamp. And I put on Karate Chop and Stone Edge to test it out for you. So there's a few things we need to go over here. One is Shadow Machamp better? Yes, the old adage is Shadow Machamp doesn't care about your typings. And as you can see, the difference is 12 versus 22. I think in a pinch, you can use Machamp, but the Shadow is better because of its stat product. And let's take a look at the stat product. 136 attack, 97 defense, 124 stamina for 1644 overall. So if you've been around for this channel for a while, you probably know what these stat products mean already. But if you don't, look at the traits right here. It is a glass cannon, and that basically means it hits hard but struggles to take hits, depends on shields. So already with your stat product, you're very attack heavy with low defense, low stamina. You barely can take any moves. You need shields anyways. So if you're going to need to burn shields anyways for this Pokemon, you might as well just boost your attack, because the Shadow gives an extra 20% attack bonus. The Shadow takes away 20% defense. If your defense is already so garbage that you can't take a move anyways, you might as well just increase your output on the offense, especially when you have now an insanely fast charging move that you can get to your charge moves very quick. So I'm running Cross Chop and Stone Edge, and it only takes, these are 2-turn moves, it only takes 4 moves to get to this Cross Chop. So again, if you've used Quagsire last year with Mud Shot, Aqua Tail, that's the spam that you're going to get with these Karate Chop and Cross Chops, except the Mud Shot, well, does not as hard a Karate Chop. So now you got it with stab, same type of attack bonus, a 3.6 damage per turn, which is quite a lot of damage for something that generates energy that fast. So the stat product is overall not good, right? It's a glass cannon. Not to say that glass cannon stat products aren't good, but it's a very limited role that you can play with these Pokemon, right? Unlike the bulky Pokemon like Azumarill and Carbink and those that have like the lower attack, high defense and stamina, gives you more flexibility in how you play with them. There's really no flexibility how you play with these Pokemon. You need shields. You need shields, and you need to build a bulk Pokemon. That's unfortunately the problem with these glass cannons. So stat product, great for an attack heavy Pokemon, bad for just general stat product. Moveset, obviously with Karate Chop, amazing. Karate Chop is amazing. Cross Chop is pretty good for just a 35 energy move. It is the quickest. 35 energy is the quickest charge move you can get in the game, with same type attack bonus of 20% and adding on shadow bonus of 20%, your 35 move suddenly becomes 79.2 damage per energy, raw damage, which means 2.26 damage per energy. So again, whenever you get a 35 energy move over 2 damage per energy, that's just fantastic. And that is why the Shadow helps this Pokemon get over that too. And then it suggests runs with Stone Edge. I think there's 3 options here. Rock Slide got nerfed, so 45 energy, only 78 damage, 1.73. Could you theoretically still use Rock Slide? I think so. Now, Stone Edge and Payback are probably better, because if you're going to be glass cannon-y, you probably want to move that actually nukes. So I'd run Stone Edge or Payback on it. Stone Edge is a 55 for 120, 2.18. Payback is even more, 60 for 132, 2.2. It's saying run Stone Edge because you're so glassy. You just want to fire off moves quicker. So that 55 over 60, you can fire moves quicker. And potentially Stone Edge may provide you more coverage because a lot of the times, one of the big issues if you're a Karate Chop user and a Cross Chop user, you can't deal with flyers. So Stone Edge will, with Gligar gone basically, and Skarmory kind of taking a hit as well, Stone Edge will give you that coverage for the flyers that you are going to be lacking. In terms of typing, you're just a fighter, so weak to Fairy, Flying, and Psychic. And then resistances Rock, Dark, and Bug. So in terms of the typing, it's okay. There's way less flying this year, so big positive on the less flying. Big positive on the very little Psychic. Although Psywave, go check out my video yesterday afternoon. You'll basically see me Psywave down a Shadow Machamp because Psywave is now a Shadow Claw clone. So Shadow Claw clone that hits super effective against Machamp basically almost deletes it. It had 1 HP left. I Psywaved a Shadow Machamp down to 1 HP. And then Fairy's just going to light you up. Rock, Dark, and Bug. Again, there is some Rock, Dark, and Bug in here, but not a ton of it. We'll see how the meta evolves as the season goes on. So in terms of the team, Machamp, Clodsire, Jumpluff. In my team video yesterday, I said Feraligatr, but I used Feraligatr on my first team. So I was like, I don't want to use Feraligatr again. Let's try something else. So I started Jumpluff. I'm like, hey, I kind of want to look at Jumpluff and Clodsire anyways. Let's just put them on a team. And it didn't work. And then I put in a Azumarill. I just think it's better. But again, Clodsire, Azumarill, Jumpluff all fit the bill of being a very, very bulky Pokemon. So let's take a look at some battles here. And right off the bat, we have a Jumpluff. So I'm staying in to see if I can get the Stone Edge. But then I'm like, oh no, this thing is Fairy Wind, Aerial Ace. So I'm just going to get significantly outpaced here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw one Stone Edge. Maybe they'll let it go and I'll see it land. And if not, I got to get out into my own Jumpluff. I'll do a separate one on Jumpluff after I'm going Clodsire. That's fine too. Clodsire met with the Feraligatr. I can probably live one Hydro from this range. And I will get a move off here, and they are a Shadow Feraligatr, so this will likely grab a shield or take them low. So unfortunately, it does not grab a shield, which is almost worse. Now, I can now just maybe commit to the Fairy Wind down from this range and come out with energy. Yeah, so I'm going to commit to the Fairy Wind down from this range, come out with energy, take the resisted Hydro Cannon here. The Jumpluff comes in to try and snipe me. It is probably running Aerial Ace because that was the recommended moveset. At the time, I was still running Acrobatics Energy Ball. So it's up to you how you want to. I'll go over Jumpluff in a different video, so we won't cover it there. Land that, and then I was like, okay, once that lands, Shadow Machamp doesn't care about your flying typing anymore, so I'm just going to come in, counter down. Obviously, Aerial Ace would hurt, so I'm just going to. I keep saying counter down. Karate Chop down. Oh, drawback. Drawback on your end and the opponent's end. Karate Chop and Counter are both 2-turn fast moves with the same animation. So as you're going to see on my, you may not see it on this end here because this is just going to be a one and throw here, or just a throw right away to get this out. But you'll see it in the other games. The Karate Chop and Counter animation are the exact same. So it really kind of messes with you as the opponent and you on this end if you don't know your move. So great lead. So Azumarill, so I come in Jumpluff, which is kind of risky. I could come Clodsire. I mean, both of them are kind of evenish. This one, Ice Beam, is double super effective, but I have an Energy Ball and I don't take super effective from the bubbles as opposed to Clodsire, which would take super effective from the bubbles and then super effective from an Ice Beam as well. So came in here, grabbed a shield, had to try and live one Ice Beam, and I do, and the bubbles are resisted, so I'm in an okay position here. So get this Energy Ball off. And they eventually come in Sand Slash. So again, very quick to the move. I'm already at a Cross Chop. And as you're going to see here, holy smokes. With these animations here, Karate Chop looks like a... And it's so much easier just to say counter and Karate Chop as opposed to Cross Chop as opposed to Karate Chop and Cross Chop. Anyways, get to the Stone Edge because you charge very fast. Nail the Stone Edge. What's in the back? They're on Machamp. So going to get this Cross Chop off. Again, that's just how spammy this thing is. And then once I grab that shield, there's no point of getting farmed down, so that's just instant swap there. Quagsire, so any neutral matchup, you're just staying in. I think they were a little delayed. You can kind of see a different animation at the ending. So the punches look the same, but I think there's something registering at the back there that looks a little different. This is an Air Lace, no, not Air Lace, Air Slash Mandibuzz. But I'm staying in because I want to see how much a Stone Edge does, and they don't let me land it. I just really want to see, again, if you've seen my last couple of videos, it's not super important to care about my gameplay or my teams at this point. I'm basically just testing out Pokemon and running different like playing the battles, not how I would play to try and optimize wins. I'm playing to learn the Pokemon and see how much damage they can take and how much damage they do and stuff like that. So I'll give you my analysis. There's still 12 minutes battles. So we got plenty of time to give you my analysis on Machamp. Out comes a Drifblim and catches my Cross Chop, which is unfortunate because that is very resisted on a Flyer Ghost, like triple resisted. They hex me down, and I was like, okay, I do not have a great answer for this. And then when I saw like I got Poison Sting on Machamp, and I've kind of got like a double Ghost weakness. I need something a little better for that, and then I put in the Azumarill. I was not impressed by Jump Bluff. Again, I'll cover the fair users in another one. I was not impressed with Jump Bluff, honestly. And Poison's an issue if you have Jump Bluff too, because then you have a poison of something weak to poison and something that can't hit poison. So it's just not a good combo this team. So that's why I put in a Azumarill. Although Azumarill doesn't do any better against poisons, quite honestly. But one of the main poisons you're going to see this season is going to be Clodsire, and you can hit Clodsire with super effective bubbles and ice beams, and they don't really run a poison charge move. So I think you can get away with the Azumarill. But yeah, that's something that we'll discuss at a later video. So Azumarill in, Malamar, again, we've seen this on the other end. These Psywaves chunk, so I am not even going to let them chunk me here. I'm just going to go straight Azumarill as my safe swap, get off this ice beam against a grass, will not take out. But maybe I can force them to throw. One move won't take me out either, so maybe I can force them to throw a second move. So do force them to throw the second one. Not enough to take me out, and the Fairy Wind, not enough to take me down. So I will flip switch or grab a shield here. Both are decent scenarios. So they allow me to flip switch. Now, I'm double weak to Poison. Machamp and Clodsire are both weak to Psychic. So Malamar's going to be doing super effective anyway. So I just come straight Machamp because I know that Cross Chop is neutral and Karate Chop is neutral. I think I can just like out spam this and start grabbing shields. So I'll shield up. No, I'm going to force them to throw Foul Play or Superpower. Okay. Foul Play is resisted and Superpower is neutral, but then they'd have to reset. So I thought I forced them, but did not. I could take a Foul Play here. They're down to 0 shields. They eventually come in their own Clodsire, but I'm already up shields and up energy, which puts me at a big advantage. One Earthquake does over 50%, and they decide to not bait here either. So I'm able to shield up an Earthquake, meaning I'm going to get to the next Earthquake. I wanted to try to get a little bit of energy, so I think I like one more. I don't want to go too much here. I don't want to test Fate because I'm not counting. So get the Earthquake off. This will take out. Now, Psywave will chunk, but because that is basically a super effective Shadow Claw, right? But Foul Play is not enough to take me out, and an Earthquake will be enough to take them out. Maybe we'll do a couple more battles, and then towards the last battles, I'll just give you my thoughts on Machamp. So Swampert, again, neutral lead. We're staying in. We're going to Karate Chop this. Out comes a Skarmory. Again, I just want to chip with Cross Chop just to see what a Karate Chop, Cross Chop combo can do to a Skarmory, and they let it go, and I think I stay in. Yeah. I'm like, okay. I'm spamming at a crazy rate. I don't mind shielding once and just staying in and then taking switch, and that takes it out. So hello. Out comes the Swampert. Here comes another Cross Chop. Again, when you're doing 2 damage per energy here, it really starts to add up with these. I think a shield, because I'm like, I want to try and sweep this team with this Pokemon. I'm like, it's probably not a good idea, but we're going to do it because I'm just interested to see if I can. But I think they maybe shield here, and then I do let this eventually go. Oh, no, they let it go. And then what's in the back? A Talonflame. So I'm like, okay, I can't just stay in there when I got two answers in the back to this, essentially. One was Stone Edge, one a Water user. So easily come in there. They decide to throw the Flame Charge, and I'm not going to shield up anything on a Azumarill. That's fine. Force the fly, and that's it. Okay, I'm going to let these 8 minutes of battles go through. Maybe we'll get back to the sort of last battles, but let's talk about Machamp and my thoughts on it. So, obviously, Karate Chop is an incredible move. How fast you get to Cross Chop and Stone Edge. Oh, yeah, this team. I think that team building with it, I'm worried about team building with it in the current state of the meta. And this is one of the things I struggled with this time around, as you can see with this team. Like, it doesn't even work that well. In my team, and actually other content creators' teams as well, they suggested Clodsire Machamp because that's also recommended on PvPoke. It makes sense in theory, right? Machamp is weak to Fairy, which Clodsire, as the best poison, resists. It's also weak to Flying, which you have Stone Edge, and you don't need to worry about Gligar and Skarmory anymore. So in theory, it makes sense. It does leave you double weak to Psychic. Not a lot of pure Psychics out there. With Psywave getting the double buff, turning into a Shadow Claw clone, you may see more of those. Plus, there's Pokemon like Ghost Pokemon that will cause this problems because Ghost resists poison and fighting. So there are a couple core breakers on this core. So if you don't want to do it with that, and you don't want to just do a pure poison, you could do something like fire. But then if you do fire, there's generally not a lot of bulky fire Pokemon, and you kind of need bulk to deal with for Machamp. So maybe you try Skeledirge, but there's not a lot of bulky Pokemon that can deal with that. Maybe Steels could be a better option, right? Steels will deal with most flyers and fairies and can do okay against ghosts, depending on the ghost. So perhaps a Steel in there in the back was probably better than Clodsire. And then like choose a safe swap or something, quite honestly. I don't think Shadow Machamp is bad. I think it's just going to take some getting used to for the mindset of people who have been using other counter users in the past friggin' how many seasons now with Annihilate and Medi at the helm. Like 9 seasons with like 6 or 7 with Medi and then 2 with Annihilate as the lead. 2-3 with Annihilate as a lead. Because basically you have 2 very, very bulky fighters in Medi and Annihilate that had insane coverage and a lot of bulk to take charge moves. And that's not the case with Machamp. You don't have this insane coverage you have no secondary typing. The Ghost typing on Annihilate and the Psychic typing on Medi really put them apart for starters. And then they had insane bulk that they could take flying moves and not be taken out. While you can't take neutral moves without being taken out here. So I think it's going to take some mindset adjustment when using Machamp that people will just need to kind of wrap their heads around. Like, oh yeah, this is not your previous season fighter. This is a glass cannon, and you need to adjust your play style accordingly. You need to adjust your team build accordingly. You need to adjust your play style accordingly. So that's going to take some getting used to. When I use glass cannons, I generally like using glass cannons that get to their charge moves fast, which Karate Chop does, but it's also like a nuke of a charge move, right? I loved Swampert with like Shadow Hydro Cannon. I liked I haven't used it in a while, but I like if you're going to use Zangoose with close combat, stuff like that. So there's the option. So I don't like what I'm trying to say is I don't like cross chop. as your move. I understand you're glassy, so to get to a 35 energy move is important. So cross chop as the default move makes sense. There is the argument to run double nukes on this thing. Run Stone Edge and Close Combat. Let me just confirm you have Close Combat. I'm almost positive you do, but let me just, before I start. It's obviously top of mind that I talk a lot about, so let me just confirm that you have Close Combat. You do. Okay. So Close Combat is a 45 energy move, which means it would take only one more. It only takes one more Karate Chop to get to Close Combat. So for one extra Karate Chop, you can get to a move that does 144 damage as opposed to the 79. Now, of course, Close Combat comes with a 100% chance of lowering your defense times 2. So the offset of doing a 3.2 damage per energy move is that you lower your defense by 2. So perhaps you can use this maybe more as like a closer with like Close Combat Stone Edge. Again, I'm not saying get rid of, you can run it how you want. I'm just giving you the different variables of what I felt. I felt that the Karate Chop and Cross Chop combo just didn't cut it. And that's probably, honestly, that's why Pangoro is probably ranked higher. Honestly, Pangoro is ranked at number 9 as the non-shadow with Karate Chop because your first move is Night Slash, which is worse than Cross Chop as a 35 energy move, but 35 for 60. So 1.71 damage. I know 2%, a 12% chance of boosting your attack times 2, which Night Slash boosts can just with Cross Chop would just be crazy. Karate Chop would be crazy. But then the second move is Close Combat. So you have, instead of having the Stone Edge, what was it, 55 energy move? Did I say? Yeah, instead of having a second move of Stone Edge for 55 energy, your second move on Pangoro is 45. So you can't like take away the fact that this is a 35-45 moveset, and that's probably why it's higher ranked as opposed to the 35-55. But I just, having that like stab fighting move on this Pokemon that's quick and hits hard, I think is probably more valuable. So again, I would, if you want to test Shadow Machamp, maybe test it with both Cross Chop as your first one and then Close Combat, Close Combat as your second one, to see how it feels and what it works. Because again, getting to a Close Combat in 5 count, it's a 2-turn move. 5 2-turn moves is probably going to outpace the majority of Pokemon anyways. And if I'm going to just use this thing as a glass cannon, I might as well use the cannon part to it as opposed to just a fast, decently hitting Pokemon. My thoughts. Again, play it. You should test it out. See how you want. Those are just my thoughts on the Pokemon. But yeah, very glassy. So need shield and need bulk on the back end. Let me know if you play with Shadow Machamp and what you think about it. And what you think about the move sets. So obviously in some of the Sims, Cross Chop will be better. I can guarantee you in the One Shield Sims, Cross Chop will be better. So this is where practical feel will outdo PV Poke. PV Poke is amazing. I love the site. It's great to give you an idea of it. The simulation is run in the One Shield even energy scenario. So when you're even energy and you're One Shield, of course, having a 35 move as opposed to a 45 move is going to be significantly better in the simulation. Being able to bait to land, like if you're against a flyer, being able to bait Cross Chop and land Stone Edge, or if you don't want to like just lower your defense times 2 and that puts you at vulnerable in the back end there. So in the Sims, it's not going to come across as amazing, but I think I'm going to try it in practice because I think in practice, Close Combat is probably going to be better. But that's my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts below. I've kind of already gone over the stat product and everything about the strengths and weaknesses there and the typing and all that stuff and how to use it. And I think that's basically it. So that is it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for a Shadow Sableye with Power Gem this afternoon. And I will see you guys in the next one.